For my think aloud and for modeling this activity, um, it would likely look a lot like this as I walk the students through the steps of um, how exactly to search for relevant news articles and then report on the main idea. So I might start out by projecting my screen up on or my computer screen up onto the projector screen and asking students where they find their news. I'd probably get some responses that they don't read the news, maybe from TV, maybe from probably not a lot from the radio, but a lot of news sites, maybe sites like CNN. Um, a lot of it would be Twitter, etc. Um, I would let students know that I get a lot of mine from Twitter as well as TV and the radio. But also, I like to check in on headlines, and to do that, a great site is news.google.com. And while I mentioned that, I would bring them to that web page. Let them know that mine's already set up for Deutschland, Ausgabe, that's German news. Talk about some of the headlines that come up when a German would go to news.google.com. Russland schickt Syrian Schiffe, Flugzeuge und Truppen. So who do we think is sending what? And see what they can do to translate some of those words. That Russia is sending Syria ships, airplanes, and troops. See if we recognize any other headlines. Then I would ask them to, with me, go to news.google.com. I'd switch mine back to the US edition and ask just to type in basic Germany, search Google News for that. Talk about some of the major headlines, what's going on in Denmark and Germany with their rail links, with all the refugees trying to get to Germany and to Sweden. Talk them through some of these news articles. Looks like some sports fans would be able to find news about world championships in basketball, etc. I'd let students know that they could do the same thing with Austria. Go through and see if they can tell the difference between what might be something relevant and what might not be. Austria qualifying for the European Championships. Well, maybe that would be relevant. I don't know. They'd have to go in, read the article, and try and find relevant information. Noting that the source of an article is important. New York Times is a reputable source. Yahoo News, we're going to get basic information. Daily Mail, they might want to look up more information about what the Daily Mail is and whether they have a strong reputation for being objective. Talk about briefly what objective means. So then I'd ask students to switch gears real quick and open a new browser, a new tab, and go to dw.de. At this site, they're able to see news from the Deutsche Welle. This is a site that's produced partially by the German government. There's a news organization. So I'd point out that there is a conflict with what their goal is, but it's somewhat similar to maybe Voice of America or another national news agency that wants to put out more information about language and culture, but also remains fairly objective. They're not all entirely pro-German articles, but they all have something to do with Germany. So this is a great resource for finding a variety of articles from a source we can fairly well trust with its content. I'd ask students to spend some time exploring this site. I'd model a couple of examples, show them the media section. There's some great podcasts, video programs that they could watch. There's live TV. Point out that this is on PBS over the weekend if they wanted to watch this channel. And then talk briefly about the Learn German section. Once students have had a chance to look around this site, I would ask them to pull up their document called that's set up on their Schoology account. I've got it set up right here under current event, and give them some help with what I'm looking for on this assignment. So please provide a link, make sure they have a link so that I can go and look at where they found their information. What is the headline of the article? I just want this so that I know they're paying attention to headlines, so that I can kind of, that's a basic start of to get their thinking process started. 2 is one of the more important. How does this information relate to German, Austrian, or Swiss life or culture? So asking them to make a connection to how this relates to what they've been learning about what it means to be German, Austrian, or Swiss. How might this relate? I'm going to get both deep and shallow answers for number 2. I'd like to look for ways to make 2 a little bit deeper. For 3, share this article in our Schoology discussion forum. So I walk them through the step of adding to a discussion forum, providing a main idea summary. I want 1 or 2 sentences of the article with details, so they're going to need to share their main idea with the link so that other students might be able to go and look at it. And describe how this is different from just providing a headline. This would hopefully encourage some interaction between students, some discussion. I would also add in from time to time, ask students to read another student's article and comment on them so that there's that further interaction.